Welcome. Here's another review about a negative dental experience that I want to talk about. So let's look through this. Do not go there. 1 star, a month ago. Now they have an office staff who everyone is a manager. Asking for appointments. Only receive response, my manager will call you. Wrong. Heard that one too many times. Go into office to have teeth pulled for dentures, paid cash for these teeth. Well, they lost my dentures. Call for solution and the office manager staff hung up on me not once but twice. They are short on staff and finally last week they finally found a dentist to run the practice. Contacted Better Business Bureau here. I am contacting a lawyer. No resolution. Disappointed to say the least. So this is obviously a terrible experience. So it sounds like my read is they've had a dentist that left, had some difficulties in finding another dentist. But we oftentimes have this hot potato game in the front office of the front part of a dental office where an angry patient or a frustrated patient will call and no one wants to call them back. And so it's handed off to the next person. My manager will call. Well, ultimately, it's really critical that we manage these complaints in a very orderly and timely manner. Otherwise, the challenge becomes, how in the world do we get our patients to respond well to a difficult situation without causing all sorts of issues? So, got to the office, have teeth pulled for dentures, paid cash for these teeth. So the process of having a denture completed is you take a set of impressions or you scan. We like to scan. And that set of scans or impressions goes to the lab. The lab then will manufacture the dentures, create the set of dentures, and there's some shipping or some delivery involved on either side of this. So what happens then is the lab sometimes will have an issue with the denture. They may want a new impression, they may have some other issues, and the denture might get lost or misplaced or delayed. A call might be made, the lab might want another something or other, and then that message gets dropped, and then now we have a patient waiting on a set of teeth that they paid in advance for, and that never happens. Someone transitions out of the office, the dentist leaves, somebody drops the ball. It's a very common story. So having a solid process in place whereby lab orders are tracked, when they go out, when they need to be back, who they need to go to, will help solve all sorts of issues. We had a case where we had 2 denture impressions taken on the same day. One patient comes into the practice for denture delivery and they have the wrong set of dentures. The other patient had a different set of denture, partial denture instead of full denture, and we didn't have it either. So somehow when we were creating those 2 lab cases, they got switched, which in the end led to a whole nightmare, and we ended up refunding a ton of money to both of these patients, and it was frustrating for them more so than for us. But that was a good opportunity for us to have demonstrated our ability or lack of ability to plan ahead and follow up on these lab cases. So, having an office manager or someone in the office hang up on you, it leads me to question 2 things. Number 1, were you very belligerent with the team member you were speaking to? And number 2, is this something where there's a maturity or training issue with the front office staff? Both or neither could be true. Chances are pretty good it was both, and there were some frustrations and anger and yelling and cursing and stuff that commonly happens. Having a dentist on site that owns or is invested or a partner in the practice solves a lot of challenges. We oftentimes in a corporate type environment or a corporate supported office will have a series of associates come through the practice who are not invested in the long-term success of the practice. They're there for a paycheck. So it's critical that we have someone with skin in the game, a partner in the office, to make sure and manage going forward what we do is in the best interest of the patients. So, short-staffed, and finally last week they found a dentist to run their practice. Hopefully they've got a dentist who's invested, someone who's a partner in the practice, and going forward they won't have this issue. Certainly it's always in a patient's right to involve a lawyer. My experience is, unless there's a very big price tag involved in a dental case, most lawyers will not take the case because it's not worth their time. Now, what does that price tag look like? With a dental case, if you have a patient who had a crown done and the crown fractured and they needed another crown and then a root canal and ultimately lost the tooth, the total treatment that it would cost, aside from pain and suffering, to replace the tooth, get a new one with a dental implant, you're talking roughly $5,000 a tooth, which on contingency for a lawyer, 40% of that, they're getting $2,200 or whatever it is. That may not even be worth their time, considering the fact that most of the time it'll take more time to fight with this issue than it would be to actually solve the problem. What am I trying to say? It's not a good investment of their time when there are some other opportunities for them. Now, for some situations, whether there's a full arch set of dental implants, where you're talking $30,000 to $60,000 per arch, and a very large payday, you may get a lawyer who's eager to jump on the bandwagon and help push forward with your case. But in the end, unfortunately, there just oftentimes is not a lot of money to be made from an attorney or legal standpoint with a small claims, kind of a dental claim. However, that's not to say if there was an egregious, subpar, substandard practice being rendered, that the the attorney or lawyer getting involved couldn't help to alleviate a big problem, and there may be some punitive damages there. But usually the dental board will take the lead in those substandard cases or practicing below the standard of care cases. So a standard lawyer may not necessarily want to get involved in those. Anyway, contacting a lawyer tends to put up a bunch of barriers. Oftentimes you can attract more flies with honey than with vinegar. However, if you run into a situation where you've paid money and there's nothing that's been resolved and going forward, sometimes having a strongly worded attorney's letter resolves those issues for you. So another negative experience for a patient. We always hate as dentists to hear these experiences, especially if it comes from us or someone that we know, because we hope that with good communication, challenges like this can be prevented. And in the name of good patient care long term, managing patient expectations and then good follow through will help to alleviate a lot of these issues. So thanks for watching.